My sister died June 13th, 2021. Our mother died June 5th, 2021. Today is June 15th, 2021. I'm going to try to get through this video without breaking up. And I have to be honest with you, the rum and coke is helping with that just a bit. Today I want to talk about death, bereavement, and the survival of the soul after the physical body dies. My name is Gwen Elise Clayton. I write paranormal fiction, but I'm not a psychic. I'm not a medium. I don't read tarot cards. I don't have ESP or precognition or any other psychical gifts. I just make stuff up. But I have researched the topic pretty extensively. When I went to college at Regis University, which is a Jesuit school, I had to take 6 units of religious studies. So I took one class, which was 3 units, of death and dying, and another 3-unit class of Eastern religions. And since I was already raised a Christian, I felt like I already knew Western religions pretty well. So I didn't further my studies with those. But I was very privileged in that my professors for both classes allowed me to compare and contrast the different worldviews of what a ghost actually is. I've also followed people like Michelle Belanger and Lloyd Auerbach. I even got to meet Belanger a couple years ago at a retreat she held at her Scare B&B in Ohio. I got to talk with her personally at length, and that was really cool. Right now, I really wish I could talk to my mom and my sister. I wish we could sit around the pool. Mom could have her red wine, Jan could have her rum and coke, and I would have one of each because I'm kind of an alcohol whore. And we would just be listening to Ernest Tubb 1 minute and Aerosmith the next. It's all good to me. I really wish we could have that kind of fun. But since we can't here in the physical world, and I just lost an earring, I'm just going to imagine it because I'm just a writer with an overactive imagination. This past Sunday, a few hours before Janice actually died, I was volunteering at an informational booth for a nonprofit that I work for. We were at a motorcycle rally that had live rock music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And they also had Budweiser beer, which was her favorite back in the days when she drank beer. There were tons of bikers, and my sister loved motorcycles. She herself didn't ride, but she would always give a big thumbs up whenever a motorcyclist would zoom past her. She loved it. So I was able to get some footage of the bikes and some photographs of bikers giving her a thumbs up. And I just got to imagine her sitting beside me while we got to enjoy the day together. And it was fun. It was fun. And it didn't harm anything. Janice loved the motorcycle culture. It helped me in my grieving process just to imagine she was there with me that day. So between the DJ and the live band, just about all of her favorite classic rock hits were played. Although I don't remember hearing Dream On by Aerosmith. And that's the song that I would pick to play at her funeral. That's just the song that made me think of her. Jan had been in the hospital since May 23rd. She'd been sick for years. So this really wasn't a surprise to anyone. And she and my mom both had COVID at the same time. They were across the hall from each other in the hospital. And my mom died. Janice went home. But she ended up back in the hospital a few months later for one thing or another. I don't know all the details because I'm here in Fort Wayne. So I'm not there in Reno where she was. And I don't exactly know what happened. I don't know if COVID had anything to do with this. I just know that she'd been sick for a long time and we knew it was coming. But all of this begs the question, where exactly do we go when we die? I'm very grateful to know that her time was coming to cross over to wherever it is that you go when you die. It enabled me to prepare emotionally and mentally for that loss. But it does beg the question, where do we go when we die? We were raised Christian. We know all about what the Bible says and how we're not supposed to talk to ghosts and we're not supposed to dabble in the occult. But really, honestly, scientifically, now that we're adults and we are in this new age of enlightenment, what really happens? And there is no scientific answer as of yet. We just don't know. We know that the physical body returns to carbon, but what happens to your mind, your conscience, your intellect, your talent, your memories, your psychic gifts, anything that has to do with mental energy? So in my book, Zinfandel's Grimoire, I talk about this a little bit. The book is about a haunted winery, and it's written in first person from the ghost's point of view. And she writes, the human amalgam is a trinity comprised of 1, a physical shell, including bones, flesh, and fluids. 2, a mind comprised of intelligence, memory, and personality. And 3, chi, the current of vital life force energy. Now, of course, Zinfandel is Chinese, so she's very familiar with chi and how that all works. And I based this on research that I did from the Chinese Americans in California during the gold rush. So I am a little bit familiar about their philosophies, but did take an awful lot of creative license with that, just so y'all know. We know that the first law of thermodynamics is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes form and direction. So where does mental energy go when the physical body transforms to carbon? We just don't know. If you have a particular religious belief, you probably have some sort of expectation, but science has no explanations as of yet. So I, as a writer with an overactive imagination, would like to believe that if I put out a piece of chocolate cake and a bottle of Castillo Gold rum, that I can have my sister right here next to me just by imagining it. And we can sit around and talk about the good old days, and we can gossip about people we know, and we can vent about our children and the men in our lives and anything else that sisters talk about. Because to be honest with you, there are times when I really just want to hang out with my big sister. And I may not be able to do it physically, but if I can do it mentally, I'm okay with that because that's the best I'm going to be able to get. So the night before she died, like I said, I knew it was coming. I made her favorite meal. I made chicken fried steak with mashed potatoes and gravy, a salad with ranch dressing, and I even made chocolate cake with vanilla buttercream icing. I know that's her favorite. And of course, I paired it with Castillo Gold rum and Coke. It was my way of honoring her memory and letting her know if she could somehow read my thoughts, that she knew that I hadn't forgotten her, that I loved her and I always will. Dream until your dreams come true, big sis. Love you. And I will never forget you. Slancha.